All right, you see there why he's so impressed. LeBron absolutely rolled over the weak Eastern Conference since returning to Cleveland. All right, Whitlock, as part of LeBron's greatness, aided by the weak competition.
Yeah, it's certainly aided. That does not mean it diminishes his greatness, but it certainly is aided. Look, who's Jay Crowder? Barkley, Malone, when they clash, Tim Duncan against Karl Malone, or,
Shaq.
just Shaq. LeBron's not meeting a lot of resistance. Is this great? Yes. But, again, they've started this super team and the players collecting everybody around. It's hard to know. It's hard to judge.
But are you falling? I think you're falling into the romanticizing the past. So Michael got 6 titles off 5 teams. None won a title. The Utah team, we're absolutely sure they're great. So Michael retires. Utah doesn't get to the finals. Michael retires a second time. They can't get out of the first round. That's the Karl Malone MVP year. How good was Michael's competition in the end?
I'm talking about just great players.
But I'm saying great.
Karl Malone was a great player.
I'm not
a lot of
by
great
the way,
players in the
Damian
league
Lillard's a great player.
No.
The Warriors have
They're
in the
West. Yeah. Isaiah Thomas is 5'9". There was a gif last night of Isaiah just like had him in a headlock and was going up for a dunk like a little child. And Isaiah Thomas, great player, but he's 5'8". That's the second best player, or that's the best competition he's facing. Jay Crowder? Al Horford?
Hey, Nick, the SEC hasn't been this weak in a decade. Is Nick Saban less great?
No, because he if you get it done in the end, which he didn't this year, that's what it'll measure. Let's see what LeBron does in the finals. He's playing phenomenal basketball. I can't believe I'm saying this in his 14th year. It's the best that I've ever seen him play. I think the pressure is off of him after winning it last year over a 73-win team, and he is just relaxed like a father playing with his sons. That said, playing in the East does give him more achievements. He would not be working on his 7 straight finals if he was in the West. And that's just fair to say, because it's proven, because his Eastern teams got beat by teams in the West in the finals. So that's what he's aided by. But the way he's playing, I just can't wait to see if he can do this against Golden State.
Even if he does this against Golden State, he's not skating through the Golden State Warriors. That's not happening. They're going to be banging, and I think it's going to go down to the last 3 or 4 minutes of Game 7 again. They're going to play basketball. The party's going to be over when it gets to the finals, period, barring injury.
But can I give LeBron credit for this? Is that Amazon is retailing weaker. Some of that's Amazon creates desperation, and CEOs get less time to catch Amazon. The SEC's fired 70 coaches since Saban started. The Eastern Conference is running through coaches. LeBron's creating some of this weakness where owners are less patient, GMs are less patient.
He joined up with Kyrie and Kevin Love. That creates weakness.
Yeah.
And so, again, I just want to be clear on this, because I don't want to diminish him. What the dude's doing is great. But you said it's the best we've seen LeBron, which is true. Is this not the weakest we've seen the East and his competition? When he was at Miami, there was better competition.
Yeah. No question. You had a big 3 in Boston. You had a great team in Chicago with Derrick Rose.
Very good team in Indiana.
Yeah, I think this year's East, as bad as it is, was probably better than last year's East.
Really?
Yeah, I mean...
But Toronto was better last year.
Were they? They let Toronto win 2 games. I know it took them 6, but I think Cleveland could have swept them.
But we would have loved to have Toronto at least win 1 game this year.
I think the Cavs are just more honed in.
I agree.
LeBron, again, with
like
the pressure
Matrix.
off of him. It's all him.
Can we
it's
stop?
all him.
Let's not over... The West ain't great either. Did you watch Houston's last game?
They got better
They're
players,
still much better.
Okay, better players.
Three of the 4 best teams in the league are in the West. You have to admit
Okay,
that.
And don't blame the Houston. Blame the magic of James Harden, which should be performing in Vegas this summer along with David Copperfield. Disappearing act. The magic of James Harden. That should be like a traveling Vegas show.
I've said this. I don't think the East is great, but I think we're over-romanticizing the West. Houston, in the end, embarrassed themselves.
James Harden.
They embarrassed themselves.
Did you look at the All-NBA teams? 4 of the first 5 players in the East.
On the West.
I'm sorry,
I'm not denying the West has more good players.
And teams.
San Antonio got hurt.
San
Utah,
Antonio,
Clippers.
But 3 of the 4 best teams, right, are in the West.
Okay, but don't tell me Houston's here and Boston and Washington are here. It ain't that big of a gap, is it? Am I wrong?
It's a gap, though.
There's a gap.
It's a gap.
Look, man, he's not facing a lot of resistance. That's just a fact. That's not a knock on him.
No.
What he's doing is great, but the resistance isn't strong, and or you can trace it to Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, whomever.
No.
They started this super team stuff and everybody gathering up and let's find an easy way to the title. And he destroyed the East, in my opinion, doing this. And I'm just sorry. What I think is going on with a lot of Eastern Conference and even the Western Conference teams, just like you and I sat here and it's going to be Golden State and Cleveland. The players are smart enough to figure it out, and they don't have the energy or the emotion or the intensity because they know, like, it's going to be Golden State and Cleveland.
In fairness to LeBron, I don't think it's because he's got a super team that they're running through the East. Put him on any team in the East, and I think this would be happening.
But he could take the Brooklyn Nets, literally. If you give him a couple,
put him there in training camp, and they go to the finals.
They're at least they're going close. They're going to be competitive.
No
they're going
question.
to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Here, prime example.
He's that good.
But again, should we give some credit? Kevin Durant could have gone to Washington.
But he did not go because of LeBron.
Okay, Paul George is leaving the East. You know,
Yeah, he's trying to go home.
I don't think it's that.
I'm throwing it out
running
there.
from LeBron.
They're not
I just
running.
think
Because going to the West is no picnic. All right, you're not beating Golden
so
State.
we acknowledge the West has a bunch of great players. We would all acknowledge the NBA now has some really great players.
A lot.
And we would acknowledge Michael had great players. The gap between LeBron and 2 is wider than Michael and 2. Is it not?
I'm not sure. It's a huge gap in both cases.
I mean,
who was two to Jordan?
Yeah, who?
I don't know. There were
Barkley, Malone.
No.
That's
Charles
a big
Barkley.
gap.
Hey,
There was
that
nobody
Phoenix team
close.
took him 6.
Six.
That Utah team would have taken him 7 with 1 call. They made him struggle.
They made him work a little bit more.
Utah made
But
Jordan
LeBron's
struggle
had to
twice.
work in
Jason.
his finals.
Stockton and Malone.
Yeah.
LeBron's
And a
had to
damn
work
hell
in
of
his
a
finals,
coach.
Colin.
And in his finals last year, they won.
Yeah.
All power to them, but it could have won. It came down to the last 2 minutes and an incredible LeBron play.
2 of LeBron's championships could have went either way. The Ray Allen shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then last year,
Yes.
I'm not taking anything away from him.
Yeah,
I'm
he
just
won
saying, you're saying Jordan got pushed to 6 when LeBron, it was miraculous shots that helped him win a
Broussard
championship.
always tells me, I'm not taking anything away from LeBron. That's how all your sentences start.
This guy is one of the biggest LeBron guys.